You may come for me at the marriage time. I shall come for him at the birthing time. And I will store up the old tales for the telling." She reached out and took her son's face in her hands. "I thought my heart had died when I left you, my Ona. But then I knew it had not, for it kept hurting for you, no matter which path I chose. You remember I gave you my father's totem stick. Raven called you a shaman even at your birth. I, too, was afraid when I first knew I had visions. But you must not be afraid of them, my son. They are dreams of power." Caleb smiled tautly. "And you remember, my mother, that I threw the totem stick across the fire. Raven does not know everything. I am not afraid. I simply do not see with your eyes anymore. You sent me to the whites. Now their world is mine. You could make it yours as well." She shook her head. "You were never far from my heart," Ilchee said softly, "in all these seasons, and you shall never be far from my eyes again. But we do not have to breathe each other's cooking fires, nay?" She stood on the shore and waved them farewell, her long robes trailing behind her, her gray hair shining in the sun. When Caleb did not, could not, lift his arm to wave, Suzanna took his hand in hers and raised them both together, calling out a loud and cheerful goodbye over the rush of the water. They were to travel that water many times, back and forth to Ilchee's lodge, as the land changed around them, and the river drew more dreamers to its shores. Finally, they crossed the green Columbia for good and moved to Portland, where Caleb bought land for a cannery site. Suzanna often thought of her father and smiled inside. "It's holding, Pa," she said silently to herself when she looked at her husband building their lives. Suzanna named her firstborn Isaac after her father, and she imagined she could see a piece of him in the boy's ready laugh and quick hands. As she had promised, Ilchee crossed the river then to take him in her arms gently, solemnly, and hold him high in the air. "He, too, has a head like the moon, like his father before him," she said. "You shall fill it full of new dreams." Caleb put his arm around Ilchee's shoulders. "And you, with the old, my mother?" Her eyes glimmered with some private promise. Perhaps Raven has said that my seed shall lead the people. If it will not be you, then perhaps this round-headed gull." She took one of the infant's hands in hers. "There is building in these fingers, but a tearing down as well. I cannot see," and she squinted as though to call up her vision more clearly. Suzanna gently extricated the infant from his grandmother's arms. "Such talk, you two. This is one nation now. Didn't the president just say so? Isaac'll have his own destiny, I reckon, just like every child born, and you can both tell him all the dreams you want. But let's not be putting his feet on any path before he can even walk." She laughed lightly and patted Ilchee's arm, but there was a firmness to her chin that belied her smile. Ilchee relinquished the child readily, but she gazed at a place just over his head, her eyes widening with secret wonder, an infinitesimal dimming of joy, and she said nothing more.